our first story starts in the DMV area. Take a look. This is video of dozens of reporters turning in access badges. They exited the Pentagon today, choosing not to agree to new government-imposed restrictions on their work. The federal government is calling the new rules, quote, common sense to help regulate a, quote, very disruptive press. Here's a look at a post from Tara Copp. She's a Pentagon correspondent with the Washington Post. She says, today, the Pentagon Press Corps handed over our badges and walked out in unison in defense of the First Amendment. It's an unprecedented attack on the public's right to know and the end of one of the most professional press relationships in D.C. We have Tara here standing by with me. Tara, help the audience understand what kind of access the press has had in the Pentagon up until today.
Sure, and thank you for the opportunity to clarify and clean up a couple of misrepresentations that the Pentagon has made recently. We are all credentialed press. We've been there for decades. We go to war with these troops. All of us have been all over the world with these service members. To even have a badge in the Pentagon, we all undergo just a very basic background check. It does not allow us any access to classified spaces. We have no more access to the building than, say, the people that work at the CVS or some of the food outlets that serve everybody who work in the Pentagon. And at its height, there's more than 26,000 people that go in and out of that building every single day. The benefit to the public for having us in the building on key days, on days like when we have struck Iran with our B-2 stealth bombers, or when 13 service members were killed in Afghanistan, we're in the hallways because we can be there to talk to people, to get a sense of things, to understand what the ground truth is, and not just get the one official narrative from an email or from a video posted to X or from a tweet. And that's an invaluable service to the public. Our ability to talk to multiple people, to build those relationships, to be in the hallways, to really get a sense for where we think the military is headed and what they're thinking is a great responsibility and one we take very seriously.
This is the statement today from the Pentagon Press Association. They say today, the Defense Department confiscated the badges of the Pentagon reporters from virtually every major media organization in America. It did this because reporters would not sign on to a new media policy over its implicit threat of criminalizing national security reporting and exposing those who sign it to potential prosecution. The Pentagon Press Association's members are still committed to reporting on the U.S. military, but make no mistake, today, October 15th, 2025, is a dark day for press freedom that raises concerns about a weakening U.S. commitment to transparency in governance, to public accountability at the Pentagon, and to free speech for all. You mentioned this briefly, but I would love if you could expand on how being physically in the Pentagon helps to supplement your reporting.
So absolutely. And Pentagon reporters have been in the building since Eisenhower. There are secretaries of defense that I've covered in more than the last decade that I've been in the building where they didn't like what I wrote, or they didn't like what my colleagues wrote, or they didn't like what they saw on TV. And it's not just a Republican administration or a Democratic administration. This crosses the whole spectrum. The colleagues who joined us today as we walked out included members of the conservative outlets and outlets that would be considered left-leaning, because everybody knows that you need all voices and you need all eyes on to provide transparency to the American public. So this isn't about protecting information or protecting classified information or any of some of the falsehoods that have come out that somehow we have been soliciting classified information. We have not. This is about making sure that there are enough eyes and voices out there to make sure there's not just the official narrative that the American public receives.
So right now, the folks are seeing on our screen some video that you took earlier today. This is as you and the press corps were walking out of the Pentagon. How did it feel walking out?
It's very sad. And even watching the video now, you can hear it in my voice. I mean, these are people that I have worked alongside in outlets across it's all the TV networks. It's the small trade publications that look maybe just at the Navy or look just at the Air Force. It's international outlets that report for the Middle East or report for Asia. And it's just, these are people that you come to know because everyone gets into the building. You know the press officers, you see them every single day, and you know that every single one of those people has had a great story uncovering something that they have specialized in. Whether it's talking about just our new fighter jets, or it's talking about an attack in the Middle East, or it's talking about where our carriers are sailing. Everybody has kind of their niche that they have become experts in, and having all of those different voices and all of those different eyes on the building is really important.
Many outlets agreed to the new rules, and if you could expand on this as well, what exactly did they agree to?
Sure. So initially, the document that we've signed for years is a single page, and it's literally just kind of the rules of the road. Here's your badge. Your badge is a government ID. It doesn't belong to you. You need to take care of it. If you lose it, you need to report it, because, of course, you don't want that badge to fall into the wrong hands. And we took that seriously as well. There was nothing about, you know, you can't talk to this person, or you can only report what has been approved. It's simply about the common sense, here's how you operate in the building, and even had something like, if you see something suspicious, say something, because we're all working in there together, and our safety is all, kind of a joint effort in that way. The document that this administration decided they needed was 21 pages long. It has just pages and pages of rules and regulations talking about, we can only report on what is authorized or what has been approved, or that we understand that if we, kind of go past that and report on what has not been authorized or approved, we could be considered a security risk. We could lose our badge or be subject to investigations or worse. So this is all about silencing anything anything that's not the official narrative.
So, what is the Pentagon saying is the operational or security justifications for wanting tighter control over what journalists can report from within military facilities? What's their justification?
Most of their justification has been in tweets. It has been, kind of spreading this narrative that we somehow solicit classified information by walking the halls, which we don't. They've tried to say that this is about protecting sensitive areas and protecting information, and that we don't have a right to walk the halls. I mean, the sheer number of different contractors and people that work at the subway, or people that work at the Panera, or people that work at the CVS, or the hair salon, or the cupcake shop. The Pentagon is a massive administrative building. There are, yes, interior offices that are secured. They're SCIFs. You cannot get in there. They are locked. So I'm not quite sure what they thought was such a threat. And there have been many administrations that have come before them who have been unhappy with the stories that have come out or their coverage, but none of them, thought that they just couldn't handle it, and the only response was to kick us out of the building.
This is what Secretary Hegseth put on social media. Pentagon access is a privilege, not a right. So here is the Department of War's press credentialing for dummies, he says. Press no longer roams free. Press must wear visible badge. Credentialed press no longer permitted to solicit criminal acts. Done. Pentagon now has the same rules as every U.S. military installation. Is it clear to us what practical impact the new rules will have? News organizations like the Washington Post are vowing to continue robust coverage of the military no matter the vantage point. Does it feel like this will have a tangible impact on what the public does and doesn't know?
It's absolutely going to make it more difficult. Part of being able to get information, to get a straight story, is built on building trust with sources and showing that you're a trustworthy person, and for them to show you that they are credible, and vice versa. And having, at 10 years in my most recent stint in the Pentagon, I was still one of the more junior reporters in the Pentagon. There are reporters who have been in the building for 2 decades, for 3 decades. My colleague Tom Bowman at NPR, I think he got his first badge 28 years ago. So that is generations of young lieutenants who then become captains and majors and then colonels and generals. And when you know them that long, when they're assigned to the Pentagon and then they go out in the field, or you end up going into a conflict zone with them and they come back, you can't replicate that. And so that is going to be one of the toughest losses, is the ability to introduce ourselves to the next generation of people who will come through the Pentagon. And we're just going to have to adjust. We'll have to be out in the field more. All of us, in this new world, definitely use Signal more. We're definitely on our phones more. And the people who talk to us are, especially with the threat of polygraphs and other things, have been more nervous to talk to us. But it just means we keep doing our job and we adapt.
Are you guys going to be invited to Pentagon press briefings?
It's yet to be seen.
All right. Tara Copp joining us today. She's the Pentagon correspondent with the Washington Post. Thanks.
Thank you.